سيد الشباب الأهل الجنة سيد الشهداء قاتل أهل الأبارة أبا عبد الله ثار الله حسين ibn Ali.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On 3rd Shaban, 3rd year after Prophet's migration to Medina, Lady Fatimah gave birth to the second Sarullah, Imam Husayn. Imam Husayn was the 5th light out of the 14 lights. Right after Imam Husayn was born, he was taken to Prophet Muhammad. As soon as Prophet saw Imam Husayn, he started to cry. He was asked, "Why are you crying?" He said, "Jibreel told me that Fatimah will give birth to a son and your ummah will murder him after you die." Imam Husayn performed Hajj 24 times during his life. That's not even how many fingers I have. Before his imamate, during the time of Imam Ali and Imam Hassan, Imam Husayn was very involved in the affairs of the Muslims. In every era, there has been two types of enemies. One is the outside enemy and the other is the internal enemy. In the time of Imam Husayn, the outside enemies were the clear-cut enemies. It was very clear that they were fighting against Islam. For example, the Roman Empire. The internal enemies were the hypocrites. They called themselves Muslims, but their hearts were full of hatred and enmity towards Islam. If any of these threats got too big, they could completely change the face of Islam. To not let that happen, Imam Husayn rose up against Yazid. The question is why Imam Husayn didn't uprise in the 10 years of his imamate during Muawiyah's illegal caliphate. The reason is, even though Muawiyah was a clear hypocrite and was a very terrible man who had said very terrible things about Imam Ali, he wasn't a big enough threat that could completely change the face of Islam. But on the other hand, Yazid was very explicit in his mission to make haram halal and halal haram. It was a commandment by Allah that Imam Husayn fulfilled by standing up against Yazid. Some people try to say, even though Imam Husayn didn't have any hope, he still rose up. That is not correct. Imam Husayn did have sufficient support, but the sufficient support were weak in their faith or iman. The people of Kufa were supporting Imam Husayn, but because of their iman, Imam Husayn wasn't able to establish an Islamic government. If Imam Husayn hadn't risen up against Yazid, true Islam would not have existed. On 10th of Muharram, thousands of soldiers led by Umar ibn Sa'd slain Imam Husayn and his loyal comrades. After killing and trampling over the bodies with their horses, they took the family of the Prophet as captives to Sham. Umar ibn Sa'd was sent by Ubayd Allah ibn Ziyaad, who was appointed the governor of Kufa by Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Now, millions of people flock from every corner of the world to visit the shrine of Imam Husayn.